Okay, so this is my friend, outstanding writer who I have just a tremendous fan of, and I kind of stand a little bit. Judd Legume from Popular Information. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy. He reports where on the dirty money. Um, and what he's talking about here, and lately what he's been following is what's been happening on Facebook and how influential. Now, he understands how influential the Facebook algorithm is and how influential wildfire sharing stories on Facebook are. Last summer, he talked about Ben Shapiro and how his website was gaming the Facebook algorithm to have 10 times the reach of any other mainstream publication out there. Nobody could figure out why or how. And this guy kind of broke it down and figured out that he was doing a certain thing and sharing it to certain pages and certain networks, and it was all going out simultaneously, and they were all using tracking tags, which indicated, in his mind, that somebody was being paid, that they were all being paid to amplify the story, which violates Facebook's TOS. Well, the guy that was orchestrating that, and you'll read this in this story, apparently left this job last summer or sometime at the end of last year and started working for a website for this thing and creating Conservative Brief, which all of a sudden started going bonkers per article engagement. This is just per article engagement, and we're going to go into exactly what they did and how they're doing this. And they're still doing this right now, and it continues to grow. And there's two stories. He did a follow-up to this. It's pretty wild. Again, if you can support Judd Legume, Popular Information, they do outstanding work. He's got a team of two or three that support him as well. But again, most people have probably never heard of the website Conservative Brief. It doesn't even, I believe, have a Facebook page, which is pretty wild. All right, yet they have emerged in 2022 as a dominant force. It has become more popular than the New York Times and Washington Post. Now, we know that New York Times and WAPO are trash in our world, but in the normie world, that's the gold standard, right? So how did this happen? Well, they uncovered evidence that they're, again, similar to last summer, they're paying a network of large Facebook pages, including several controlled by prominent political conservative personalities, to post its content. Right? So their engagement on Facebook exploded over the last year. Newswhip, which is an independent social media analytics firm, right, looked at how many engagements this thing had. Again, 2,500 engagements per article is still incredibly high. But all of a sudden now, they're getting over 30,000 engagements per article. And they've become like the hottest, most shared, most read website across Facebook, which of course is still the number one website in the United States and still one of the most influential on politics, right? So Conservative Brief publishes a tiny fraction of the articles produced by only a tiny fraction of the articles published by New York Times and WAPO. They employ thousands of journalists to produce original work, right? Nevertheless, Conservative Brief now receives more engagement on a weekly basis than either the New York Times or WAPO, according to Newswhip. And this is how the chart has gone. You can see that the blue is New York Times, the yellow is Washington Post, the red is Conservative Brief. And it's amazing how they've done this. Well, so Judd wanted to look into this. How is this even possible? So CrowdTangle starts looking at Conservative Brief's engagement over a 10-day period ending February 19th and found that that what's happened to news content is that Facebook, by the way, if you haven't noticed, and we have, of course, because we share news, but Facebook has deprioritized news on the platform, and nearly every publication has steadily seen less engagement for its content. I mean, I've been talking to Reef about the fall off in traffic on both the Substack and on the Facebook page and to the website from Facebook, as Facebook is a large percentage of our website traffic itself. Okay, but Conservative Brief, as the data shows, has been able to buck that trend. How is that? They don't even have a Facebook page. It previously operated one, but it's no longer online. But meanwhile, Washington Post has 6.6 million fans, and the New York Times has 17 million. How is this thing that doesn't even have a Facebook page getting even more traffic than these guys are? So, here's how we do it. Each time the Conservative Brief publishes an article, a link to the article is posted by an exclusive network of conservative Facebook pages with large audiences. So, for example, and here they go, this Mike Lindell thing, where Lindell said he's going to drop pillows by parachute, included a coupon code, buy the slippers for 50% off, and the same day it was published to a slew of large conservative Facebook pages, sometimes with identical text. Let me see, can I blow this up? I can a little bit. So you can see it's Nick Adams, and it's the Patriots Gazette, impeach Joe Biden, America First with Sebastian Gorka. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, right? So it includes Dinesh D'Souza with 2.7 million followers, Brigitte Gabriel, which is apparently somebody, I think she's British. This guy Nick Adams has 1 million followers. So again, you've got some David Clark. How are all of these people immediately allowing this website to publish this article, each article, to their page, pretty much simultaneously? And then the same pages post links from Conservative Brief, often multiple times a day. All right, he posted a dozen links to Conservative Brief just on Tuesday. So it's not like he's just casually sharing an article that he sees. Clearly, there's a relationship here. Okay, where he's fronting, or he is acting as a mouthpiece for this website. And it's not terribly surprising, considering that D'Souza, I know he was in jail, and I don't know how he's earning money at this point. I'm guessing through some kind of streaming platform, super chats, whatever, but he's also probably being paid by some billionaire somewhere. I don't know. I can't speculate on exactly what he's doing, but Judd's speculation is that he's being paid by Conservative Brief to have the ability to publish out, because what they're doing is they're using tracking tags, UTM tags. And I actually use this for Indie Left, but I don't use it to track money. I just want to know how influential where we're posting different websites is. And I'm a geek, and I want to know where the traffic is coming from, who's actually reading my stuff from the links that I share. I don't really get much traffic to my site that's organic, other than the links that I naturally share out there. I don't pay for one dime of traffic. What he's asserting and what he's accusing them of here is actually paying. So he's saying that, again, they're using special software, most commonly Google Analytics, to track how many people are visiting each article by using these tracking tags. And it's free software. It's not even paid, that they're not paying to use the software, but they're paying to have these pages put the links out. So, in other words, the traffic to D'Souza's Facebook page would be lumped in with all the other traffic from Facebook, because if they did not segment this out, they would not know where on Facebook the traffic was coming from. They have to put these special tags in to know where specifically in their link posting, and you can have it tracked. I have hundreds of links a day that get posted out across all different platforms, so that I can track exactly which article and which platform and which edition they clicked from on a certain day. And that stuff is important for your analytics. But by appending the code, D'Souza's enabling them to isolate the traffic that he's sending to their site, but he has no access to the information. That's the difference. And that I actually personally reached out to Judd, because this whole thing concerned me, and I said, look, this may look one way, but I'm doing a very similar thing for not nefarious purposes. Although, again, I'm not sharing this with million-page follower Facebook pages and having them blast it out on my behalf and not disclosing that relationship. And I think that's where he's going. So, again, this is a kind of long piece. He also was going to show that, oh yeah, this guy used to work for the Daily Wire. Remember I mentioned Ben Shapiro's website, right? And this is where he references that he used to be on this website, that he used to work for this website. Mad World News, which controlled the Daily Wire. Well, all of a sudden, Mad World News stopped working with the Daily Wire and started working with the Conservative Brief. And guess what do you think happened? Check that out. You see almost a direct flip within just a month or two. Like, you can pretty much see it happening right about here. They hired this guy, I'm guessing, right about here. They were taking a dive, they were in trouble, and they decided to bring this guy in. This other site had a spike for a little bit because they could maintain on his laurels, and then he started to get to work on Conservative Brief. Daily Wire starts to take a dip, and now Daily Wire is starting to figure it out a little bit. You can kind of see that trend right here. It's pretty wild, right? YouTube Studio provides some level analytical data. Yes, they do. Again, Daily Wire still attracts more engagement overall. It produces far more content, but that's on a per article basis. But that's a wild story. All right, so that's the first half, which is how much traffic they're getting. And the thing that he doesn't really share here, other than one article, which is, again, damning evidence against Hillary Clinton in the Durham probe, Trump gives love to Mike Lindell. It's a very hardcore, kind of right-wing, inflammatory propaganda site. And the day after, or 2 days after, so this was on the 23rd. The next day, he wrote a follow-up article, okay, about Brandon Gill, who is the person that runs that Conservative Brief. He provides strategic marketing direction. All right, but now the DC Inquirer has become more popular on Facebook than the Washington Post. Its rapid success is the result of an audacious scheme to manipulate the Facebook algorithm. Algorithm manipulation is really important. Look, I almost want to say, could we do this for good purposes and share, figure out how do we game this? Now, again, they're spending money to do this. And here we go. Here's Brandon Gill and Danielle D'Souza Gill. And there's the connection. Looks like he's married to Dinesh's wife.
Wait, what?
Look at that. Brandon Gill, Danielle D'Souza Gill. Oh, it's sister.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Within the family.
So many of these pages post this link with the same message within seconds of each other. Right? They have a page transparency box, which is supposed to reveal who the owner of each page is. Yesterday, the Facebook pages in the DC Inquirer network were listed as owned by Defending Freedom LLC or Defending Liberty LLC, with both the same address in Wyoming and the same phone number. Okay, but neither is officially linked to the DC Inquirer, which, according to its website, is owned by the Boswell Project. So who's involved with the Boswell Project? Yeah. I believe it's also that guy, Brandon Gill. Here we go. Brandon Gill started his Facebook page on November 6th. What did I tell you? You could almost go back to looking at this chart. I didn't know this. I really hadn't read that part. But you can see, based on the Daily Wire traffic versus Conservative Brief, what did I say? Right? Oh, okay, I was a little bit off. I said January. It was actually back here in November. I predicted here. You can see they're running pretty parallel. Daily Wire had a big spike, and they started to come back to earth. Yeah, there you go. November, and poof, pretty wild. So this one guy, he's obviously brilliant in some way, shape, or form about manipulating algorithms and about how to post this stuff. Okay, he was able to build up his page by running Facebook ads like this one. So this guy did run an ad. Now, they don't tell you how much he spent, I don't believe. Okay, he spent somewhere between $66,000 and $83,000 running these ads. Who's fronting that? Who's fronting that? What he's doing is he's driving traffic to a website, and then he's getting paid either by somebody nefariously to get people to that website for whatever reason, or more likely, he's running ads on that website, which he's getting so much traffic to, it's making him money every time he can make the cash register ring. Basically, it's almost like gaming the stock market, where it costs you 5 cents to buy a stock, but every time you sell it, you're going to sell it for 10 cents. You're guaranteed to make a nickel every time you do it. That's almost like what I see happening here, where if he spends the money, he's going to drive them to the website, which gets them paid per click or per view, which is going to make them even more money than it costs them for the view on Facebook. That's how they turn this thing into a business. Look at this. Yeah, he also ran ads encouraging people to tap the big thumbs up button if they wanted to remove Kamala, if they want to remove AOC, if they support Donald Trump. Again, it's very similar in structure. Here are the brands in the DC Inquirer
Simple
network.
manipulation skills is all that takes.
Well, you need a couple of really sharp coders. So, D'Souza Gill has run the same ads, although her page has been active since 2013. Again, I think this is Brandon Gill's wife, which would make a lot of sense. That how are you connected to Dinesh D'Souza? And Dinesh D'Souza is an intro into XYZ. That would be my speculation into how this whole thing would work. But again, you see how many followers between all of these. I mean, you're talking a few million. And these pages have spent, since last November, between $250,000 and $300,000 on Facebook ads.
God, that's crazy. That's such a huge amount of money. I don't know.
Why? I mean, they're getting viewership to their page. Again, I don't really get this part. Is the profit motive? I mean, I get that there's an influence motive, there's a propaganda motive, but this kind of thing, again, Freedom Convoy on the verge of victory. Again, we know who they're trying to appeal to for sure. Okay. Yeah, Russia posting Buff Bernie was definitely a problem, E. Heller, for sure. Where do we go here? Let's go back and let's just you and I talk for a few minutes about this craziness. So Judd really has the goods. This is a crazy story. Again, and nobody's paying attention to this. And this is like, think about your crazy uncle that's talking smack on Facebook. They're reading this stuff. Okay? Because this is getting out there across this network of they would call them far right to the point that they would probably call us far left, but they are getting they're getting out there. They're getting out there. How are they winning the information war? As we would probably deem
Or
it.
the disinformation war. I'm just
Right?
saying. I mean, holy crap! Have you seen all the debunking that's been going on with this